Hey guys, welcome to another video. This video was very exciting to make. I took apart an old Canon 1100D, a DSLR. I learned a whole lot of things and also realized the sheer amount of engineering that goes into making such a digital camera. Also, let's see what we can salvage from it. After all, this is the second episode of the Salvage Yard. I thought opening up the camera would be fairly easy, but then there was so many goddamn screws. Also realized how important the invention of the screw was. Screws, more screws, tiny ones, small ones, rusted ones. Ugh. The outer plastic shroud which held the screen and the buttons came off quite easily. Then I removed the motherboard which had all the image processing circuitry, high-speed cache memories and control circuits. Couple of the screws which held the upper shroud were rusted and I had to bring in my driller to drill through the screw. And I still didn't manage to open it without bending the whole thing. Now that the top was off, I was able to see the pentamirror assembly along with the diopter control, which is used to set the focus for your eyes. I was also able to see the small DC motor which is probably used to lift up the mirror during the shutter release process. Next, I was able to remove the 12.2 megapixel aps-c cmos sensor. This sensor was attached to what looked like an ADC motherboard or the ADC chip. This is the heart and soul of the camera. Invention of these image sensors, the digital processing, put an end to the film-based cameras. I will make a separate video about the cmos sensors, what aps-c means and how they work. Stay tuned. After removing the sensor, the shutter or the screen which blocks the sensor was visible. There was another PCB at the front beneath the grip which housed the flash power circuit, a tiny transformer and a big ass capacitor. Funny enough, this capacitor is rated at 330 volt while the battery which powers the camera is only around 3.5 volts. Later, I realized that the transformer steps up the voltage and charges the capacitor, and later the capacitor drains all the energy into the flash bulb in a very small time. Continuing the teardown, I removed the central metal frame which was very sturdy, the DC motor and the pentamirror assembly, and removed more screws. And at this point I had most of the parts removed. I stopped digging further and decided to have a closer look at various things. It is really amazing the amount of engineering that has gone into manufacturing a digital camera. The optics, the viewfinder, mechanical shutter system, the cmos sensor, digital processing. There are so many things which go into making a functional camera. And on top of that, everything is very modular. Most of the things can be replaced. Let's have a quick look at how all these things work together. In the process of taking an image, the lens is the first stage. You see through the viewfinder to review the image before capturing. The lens focuses the image onto the mirror which sits in front of the shutter at 45-degree angle. This mirror reflects the image into the pentamirror assembly. This pentamirror assembly re-inverts the inverted image and the image passes through a couple more lenses and straight into your eye, and then it gets focused on your retina. This is where the DSLRs get their name from, digital single lens reflex. In olden days, cameras used to have dual lenses, one for the viewfinder and another one for the sensor. At this point, you adjust the focus and the exposure to your liking and hit that shutter release button. As soon as you hit the shutter release button, the mirror lifts up, shutter opens and exposes the sensor to the image formed by the lens for a small amount of time which is determined by the shutter speed. Once the image is exposed, the rest of the processing is handled by the image processor. When in video mode, the sensor is always exposed to the image formed by the lens. Here, instead of a mechanical shutter as in previous case, an electronic shutter is used, meaning the contents of the sensor is read at a very high speed depending on the video frame rate. Same thing is done in your mobile camera as they do not have a mechanical shutter. From here, all the image data gets processed, compressed and encoded into different formats, and you get to post it on Instagram with 1 million hashtags. Pretty amazing, right? I finally understand why digital cameras can be so expensive. Coming to the salvage part. The DC motor, the flash assembly with the big capacitor, the control wheels, all can be used in some or the other way. There are so many other nice things here. I'm pretty sure I come up with ways to use them in my future projects. This was a very interesting teardown. At every point I was totally amazed by the intricacy and the precision of the internal design. I also realized why camera repairs can be so expensive and why it is important to get it repaired only by the authorized people. That's about it, guys. I hope you learned something new. I surely did. Stay curious and also make sure you feed your curiosity. It is simply amazing when you find out why things are the way they are. Give this video a like and maybe subscribe. It's up to you. Tell me what you thought of this video and also tell me what I should take apart in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.